Coach, your group broke that game open after halftime. What did you like about the effort coming out of the break?
And we challenged them. You challenged these guys after halftime to be ready to go. We didn't close out that second quarter the way we would have liked to, so that was a great talking point, at halftime. How did we want to respond? And they did a great job of responding in that third quarter, what we've been talking about. So it was been an area of emphasis, and the guys took on that challenge, and it was great for them to be able to break the game open that way.
Why do you think your team lacked some energy or effort in that second quarter, in that first half, against the team on the second half of the back-to-back?
I think you sometimes when things come too easily in games like this, you tend to take it for granted. And I think we got a little loose. And I think it was that last 4 minutes of the second quarter. That's when we saw the lull. And so we talked about at halftime, you just don't get bored with the simple things. And that's what this game was about. Can you keep doing the simple things over and over again, not get bored with it? They were beating us on the glass in the hustle stats and the hustle areas, and the guys, took it personally in that second half to be able to come out the right way.
Paolo came up with 37 points. There's definitely felt like there's emphasis to get him the ball in the post. How important was it to kind of establish his presence in the paint, especially with how small Washington was?
Yeah, we challenged, challenging him early just because we knew the size was going to be an advantage. So him able to get out and get early seals, we knew that was going to be something for us. They were going to collapse, and he did a great job challenging them before the game to try to get 5 or 6 early easy seals. I think he ended up with 5 tonight. But that's, it puts so much pressure on the defense when he's down there and these guys got to collapse, and now he's able to make the right play or finish at the rim.
Wendell was a late scratch. Just how is he doing, and what do you have to evaluate with him?
Yeah, he started feeling it in his shooting slot, the ankle, so, him not being able to go. And I say this, and I want everybody to listen as much as you can, that is the reason why Goga Batadze is an absolute pro. Not knowing what was going to happen, going through shoot-around, just being on the sub pattern, and he hasn't played in who knows how long, but his ability to stay ready, to stay locked in, to follow the game plan, to guard the right guy, to do the right thing, the same energy no matter what was happening, he represents exactly what we need to have happen when your number is called, and he did that. And I can't give him enough credit for being able to be called on the last minute and come out and play the way that he did and impact the game.
Thoughts on Jalen Suggs' poise tonight and what he does for this team when he's able to control his energy like that, forcing turnovers on one end and then just orchestrating so patiently as a playmaker offensively?
Well, 9 assists is great tonight, and he did the way his pace was early. He was getting us early, easy looks. His cross-court passes, we talked about it. He was organizing our guys on the floor. I thought he was very good there. I think his ability to play with that level of poise continues to keep us at an even keel, and then we're able to execute the right way.
Just with the, you mentioned the kind of playing to the standard, the kind of like don't get bored with the simple. How big of a challenge is that? You're in this hunt. At the end of the season, how important each game is. But how much of a challenge is that to not get bored with the simple things that you guys have to do?
We talk about a little bit about before the game being able to hold each other accountable, hold your teammate accountable, coaches hold the players accountable, just the ability to do the right thing consistently. And that's why you go back to Beatty's point. That was a 4-minute stretch where we didn't do the right thing. So we were able to go into halftime and talk about that. And I think that's so important that you can say, hey, we're not playing up to our standard. And then you see what happens when we come out and respond, because we did some very good things early on, and then it got a little easy. And that, the ability to reset at halftime and come out and play the right way is what we need to continue to do.
You guys got a really big win here at home tonight. What is kind of the biggest thing you're gonna talk to your team about when it comes to finishing the season and potentially making a deep playoff run?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think we just have to continue to talk about taking it one game at a time. We've said now we've got one more game at home. Can we take care of the homestand? But it's going to just have to continue to be one game at a time, because the way the standings are, the way teams are moving in, we've just got to focus on what we can control and continue to play to our standard of basketball.
Thanks, Coach Mose.
Great question.
Des, your group really broke that open after halftime. What did you like about your team's mentality and effort to start the second half?
It's something that we talked about, how we came out these last couple third quarters, and I was happy with the way we came out. Both sides of the ball, thought we got stops, was able to generate some transitions, some easy buckets for us. Paolo playing with a lot of force, seals early, early drives, really just kickstarted things for us. Big night for him.
How important is it for him to get the ball deep at the paint like he did a couple different times tonight?
I think it's huge. I mean, we talked about it, against Detroit in the first half. We touched the paint a lot, and in the second half we didn't. So that was something that we stressed, and kind of like I told the guys, like it's something that we got to be better about, talking about during the game. If we feel like we haven't got to the paint a couple times, hey, let's make sure we touch the paint before we let one go, make sure we're getting a good look. So I thought we were real intentional getting there tonight, and that's got to be our MO. I mean, we scored 126 points. It's good basketball.
Thought Suggs was playing poised and patient tonight, playmaking and choosing his moments for when to be explosive and force turnovers. What are your thoughts on having him just back and slowly getting back into full form, and your thoughts on his play tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's huge. What he's capable of on both ends of the floor is, can change a game, changes our team. And like you said, I mean, he's been in and out this year with different injuries. So I think just consistency will be the key for him coming down this stretch, being healthy, being able to kind of find that rhythm and find that spot. So I'm proud of him, as always.
You guys started off that first half 1 for 11 from 3, and then that second half 9 for 14. How important was it for this team to see your 3 fall down, and then for everyone to be confident into their 3 steps?
Yeah, I think that we put our work in. I mean, we was in the gym this morning. We was in the gym yesterday. Something Javon talks about too, just trusting your shot, trusting your work. So we shot basically the same amount, in both halves. So I like that, we remained aggressive and continue to take the open ones. The more threes we hit, the harder we are to guard for sure.
You mentioned that you guys were kind of challenged at halftime to come out strong in the third quarter. In a game like this, how important is it to not kind of get bored with the simple things and to kind of play to your standard more than playing against an opponent? Yeah,
I think that's this team, but I think that's got to be your MO in general. I mean, good teams have a standard and hold themselves to it, regardless of the opponent. So, I mean, like you said, I was happy, how we responded in that second half. But, like you said, standard is a standard, and we got to continue to live up to it.
Coach, before the game, talked about the turnover battle and how important was it to win that, and not only that, but have contributions from players like Javon Carter log 30 minutes and have 0 turnovers in the game.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, that's something that this team does extremely well. They turn teams over. It allows them to get out in transition. When Detroit kind of broke the game open, we had some turnovers and some lapses. So it's an area that we're continuing to grow in, stress in. Just make a simple play. Especially when we got dynamic guys on the court. The defense is going to give us something, and we have all the tools to be able to make the right plays.
It seems like Javon Carter has walked in and made an immediate impact on the court. What's it been like having him in the locker room so far, and how quickly has his voice resonated with this team?
Yeah, no, I don't think it took long. I mean, just his body of work. He's been in the league for a while. He's been on a bunch of different teams, seen what it looks like to win. And he's a hard worker and cares about winning. When you work hard and the only thing on your mind is winning, it's hard not to respect people like that. So, I think he's come in and given us exactly what we needed.
Thanks, Des. I'll be back with Paolo.
Right. Jay, your group was able to break that game open after halftime. What did you like about your group's ability to come out to start the second half?
I thought it was really intentional on both sides of the floor. I think defensively, we got a lot of stops, both in that third quarter and then especially the start of the fourth. We really kind of held them out of the paint, taking tough shots, which was nice. That feels good. When they don't have it rolling, and you're able to get out and run, play fast, with full confidence that you come back and get a stop on the other end. So, I thought it was great. I thought we got a lot of good looks. We were spraying it, which was nice. When the ball pops, the game of basketball just feels that much better. It looks that much better. So I think overall everybody did solid. Everybody came in and did their job. Like I said, and this is a good win for us.
Mose said that the staff challenged you guys at the halftime, to play with a little bit better energy, more effort, whatever it was. Why do you think there was that lull in that second quarter that just seemed to slow things down a little bit?
Yeah. I don't know, to be honest. I think they got going. They have a lot of good players over there, to be honest. A lot of guys that are hard to guard one-on-one. And I think in the second quarter they just really started to loosen up and really go get it. So I'll go back and watch it, but I don't even have a solid answer for you right now, to be honest.
What did you make of Goga Batase's efforts in that last-minute start?
Goga's the best, bro. Yeah, man, he's just in the right spots. Sets good screens, rolls, has so much gravity when he rolls, can go get it, and then is always behind you, ready to block a shot. So shout out to Goga, staying ready. He's been out the rotation, but, coming in, starting, and he gave us really good minutes and played solid throughout, with only 3 shots. Unselfish basketball. So, yeah, shout out to him. Hopefully Dale gets better, get him back in the role, and, just keep rolling. But next man up mentality, and I think he embodied that.
Jalen, you are dismissed.
Thanks, dog.
Shit, brother.
P, you guys were able to break that game open after halftime. What did you like about your group's mentality and effort to start that second half?
I thought we locked in on defense, got out and ran, got some easy buckets, and just focused on, getting stops.
How much of an emphasis was it on your part to, attack early and just get downhill more aggressively?
Yeah, just wanted to be aggressive. They were showing me single coverage, so thought I could just take advantage of that.
With the second half in a game like this, how important is it to be focused on the details and to make sure that you kind of do what this team needs to do and do those foundational things against an opponent like this?
Yeah, just a team that you gotta, put away. They're gonna try to, keep playing fast, playing hard. Got a lot of young guys out there that are, got something to prove. So you got to know that coming in, and yeah, you just got to impose your will.
What does preparation look like for you and the rest of the team as you near the end of the season?
You talking about just game day preparation?
Yeah, just like game day mentality. What do you think you guys need to focus on as you near the end of the season and get ready for the postseason?
Yeah, I think, just approaching every game as a playoff level game. Every game counts for us at this part in the season, and we're trying to, fight for position in the standings. So just coming in with that mentality and, preparing the right way, watching personnel film, watching film after games, win or loss, looking at what we did good, what we did bad, and just trying to make the proper corrections and just be better. So I think, just taking it one game at a time and just singular focus.
What kind of spacing do you see out there when you run the inverted pick and pops with Suggs or Bain or one of the guards? Does it really open the floor for you?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like depending on how teams try to guard it, I think it could be something that we go to and that works for us, whether it's getting those guys open looks or, freeing up space for me to get to the rim and get downhill or get a matchup that, is favorable for me. So, yeah, like I said, some teams guard it differently, but it's something that we can definitely look at to go to when we need a basket or need a good look.
Thoughts on Javon Carter so far? His voice seems to be connecting with the team right away, and just how quickly he's made an impact on the court. And can you talk about kind of how he's keeping the team accountable in the locker room as well?
Yeah, he's been great, man. He's a guy I've got to, hang out with a little bit since he's been on the team, just get to know him. I actually watched him a lot in college, told him that, when he was at West Virginia, he was a hell of a college player, one of the best guards I know in the Big 12. And so having him on the team is just been a great thing for us. Like you said, the accountable piece. He's a natural leader, natural kind of floor general point guard type of guy, and he's been through a lot in the league and a lot of different places, a lot of different great players he's played with. So. He knows what it looks like. He's been on finals teams and stuff like that. So he's a guy that, when he speaks, you just, you got to listen to, and he's not afraid to, tell a guy, what he's doing wrong or, but at the same time, he lets you know when you're doing good and when you're, doing stuff right. And then on top of that, when he's out there, he makes an impact, on both sides of the ball. So, really can't say enough about him so far, and glad he's on our team.
Last question here.
There was that lull in the second quarter. How do you guys avoid that type of stuff happening against Dallas on Thursday?
Yeah, I think just trying to stay consistent. If we start a game hot, trying when we make those subs, coming in with that same energy. I think we let them get going offensively. A couple guys started to hit shots, get downhill on us. So, I think basketball is a game of runs, but like you said, you don't want to give teams life early in the game because, sometimes that can carry over. But I thought we did a good job of just, withstanding that and then coming out in the third quarter and being better, guarding better. But, yeah, maybe against, Dallas or another team, you don't want that same thing to happen because, guys can get hot and get confident if you let them. So. Like I said, something that we can watch and just get better at and be ready for the next game.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks, everyone.